Into the light Clubman class, the championship title battle is finally poised. With his first win at Ella Park, Jack Harding has a 12-point lead over Dave Waters, and who knows which Dave Waters, the good, the bad or both, will turn up today. Harding has a 15-point advantage over third place Stefan Child, who in complete contrast to Waters has a canny knack of racking up the top fives. Stephanie Walters in 5th, Ray Norris in 6th are too close to be discounted, although ultimately I think they will be. And not currently showing on the first page of the points due to missing a round apiece, Ben Finch, now a race winner after Ella Park, and Dan Milner, a winner at Rye House, I predict will both have a part to play in the championship title battle. And after morning qualifying, it's championship leader Jack Harding with the 2nd and 3rd place taking pole position ahead of Ben Finch looking for another win. Heat 1 winner Stephanie Walters on grid 3 with Dave Waters on the outside. Heat 2 winner Chris Lewis Evans starts inside of row 3 with Robert Lark on the outside. Dan Milner, Oliver Goodacre, Liam, Nolan and Stefan Child round out the top 10 on what is once again a disappointing 14-car grid for light Clubmans. All eyes on Jack Harding. He controls the pace to the Union flag and he's got the whole shot into turn 1. Harding leads. Now can Stephanie Walters come through on Ben Finch? She can't, she's slotted in behind. Dave Waters in 4th place as they go through Billy's blind. Waters round the outside of Walters for 3rd. He's got it done. Now on the brakes. What's the condition like at turn 2? Stefan Child there ahead of us. We're on board here with Oliver Goodacre. Stefan Child trying to get ahead of Dan Milner and he's done it. Now we're on board with Milner coming out the S's on the run down the back straight to the hairpin. How much grip is there? Harding leads ahead of Finch running wide. Waters goes a long way into the hairpin and Walters is back in 3rd place. Everybody trying to get drive out of the hairpin and Carl Watt on the inside for the horseshoe. Coming through on Ross Wheeligan. Contact with James Hazelhurst. They're fighting over the minor places around 10th place. It's Harding, Finch, Walters, Waters. Coming through in 5th place, Chris Lewis Evans, Stefan Child, Robert Lark, Dan Milner, Oliver Goodacre and James Hazelhurst round out the top 10. Sweeping through Billy's blind for the 2nd time. And the field is already beginning to spread. Apart from down at the back of the field. Dan Milner here in 8th place. Goodacre on his bumper. Nolan cuts to the inside of Hazelhurst. Can he get it done into the S's? Yes, he can, and Wheeligan's coming through with him. So position game for Nolan and Wheeligan. Hazelhurst still getting the grips with the lack of grip. Down at the hairpin, Waters trying to come back at Stephanie Walters, and down the inside, Carl Watt pushing hard here at the beginning of this final to make up ground on the leaders. Got ahead of Oliver Goodacre. Steve Townsend and James Hazelhurst fighting over who will not be last. Curb warning going out to Carl Watt. He's been aggressive off the start. Look at the lead that Jack Harding's got. He's pulling clear of Ben Finch. Under pressure now from Stephanie Walters and Dave Waters. And you can see it's starting to rain again. Conditions beginning to worsen. Sweeping through the right-hander. Finch comes out the S's sideways, so does Walters. Opportunity now for Waters, down on the brakes in the hairpin. How dare deep he go? He goes a long way in, can he get it squared off? There's contact with Walters on the exit. She's back in 3rd place. No sign of Chris Lewis Evans in 5th, there he is. Not close enough to take advantage. Stefan Child closing in on his bumper. Walters goes quite deep into the last corner. Once again giving a chance to Dave Waters, perhaps down through Billy's blind into turn 2. Jack Harding pulling clear. His lead is nearly 2 seconds now ahead of Ben Finch. Waters drifting it through on the throttle through Billy's blind. Lots of understeer. No surprise really, no wet tyres here. Not much front end grip. On off the throttle, that's one way to do it. Finch, Walters, Waters. Smoother application coming out the hairpin. Waters might have the advantage of being able to move his body weight around. Oliver Goodacre moves his kart off track, manages to get it back on. He now drops to the back of the pack. Feeding in the throttle, foot hard down, now that he's got traction. Child ahead of Lark, Milner, Carl Watt gap then to Nolan. He rounds out the top 10 and he's under pressure from Ross Wheeligan. Steve Townsend not far behind in the black there. So it's Nolan 12, Wheeligan car number 7. Wheeligan on a different line through the right-hander. And once again, Dave Waters is looking for a way by Stephanie Walters. Ben Finch a little bit crossed up going in to the hairpin. Manages to get the cart round. All the while, I've got to tell you, Jack Harding is pulling clear. It's over 3 seconds now. His lead over Ben Finch. So it looks as though he's in a race of his own and the battle is on for second and third place. Waters as close as he's been into turn 1. Carl Watt down the inside of Milner. That's for 8th place and he's got it done. And Waters has got past Walters as she struggled to get drive out of turn 1. Now is she going to come straight back at Dave? These two have a history. I'm talking about on track, of course. Out of the S's, and Waters has got the position. Goes for a bounce along the curbs there. Walters not close enough to take advantage, and as she's losing ground, perhaps a chance now for Lewis Evans and Child to close in. Ross Wheeligan ahead of Liam Nolan. Oliver Goodacre trying to get back in touch in 14th place. Nolan's got ahead of Wheeligan once again. Leading him a merry dance through the last corner and over start finish with Steve Townsend and James Hazelhurst in close company. The field has begun to spread considerably. Front to back is covered by 17 seconds now. You can see the rain, it's heavier than it looks. Lark runs wide into the S's. A chance now for Carl Watt to pick up another position. Has been very strong in this first final. Shame he qualified so badly, because he's the fastest man on the circuit pretty much right now. Changes surface, Lark runs wide, the road's in his favour, into the last corner. More contact with Carl Watt, got to be careful. He's already shown himself up to the clerks of the course to get a curb warning. He's down the inside cleanly into turn 1, giving Robert Lark room. Looks over his shoulder, the position is Carl Watt's and he's through. Carl Watt moves up to 7th. Into turn 2. Feeding in the throttle. Not much grip. Look at the understeer on Dan Milner going into the S's. Handfuls of lock to trying to get it to turn. Same down here at the hairpin. Some shape or other. Look at the lock. Full lock goes on, encouraging the cart to turn. Robert Lark stays in 8th place. More lock. Application of the throttle, and we move on to lap 9, and Jack Harding is not even in shot this time. We're looking at Ben Finch. He's got about 5-6 kart lengths on Dave Waters. Not quite close enough to put the pressure on, unlike Liam Nolan, once again under pressure from Ross Wheeligan coming down into turn 2. Nolan running in 10th, Wheeligan 11th. Wheeligan looks to the inside the S's, not a serious look. Just trying to upset Liam Nolan's concentration. He's not going to be close enough for the hairpin for anything other than a bit of a lunge. They're beginning to drop James Hazelhurst. He's falling back to Oliver Goodacre. Finch perhaps now coming under pressure. Be able to hear Dave Waters' engine. Will he look over his shoulder to see where he is? Yes, he does. He takes a quick peek over his shoulder. These three are fighting over the podium steps because Jack Harding now is 4.5 seconds clear. He's your race leader out of the S's. Will have pretty much the full length of the back straight. Finch now conscious of Dave Waters closing in. He's settling for second, but he's got to hold that position from a charging Dave Waters, who doesn't appear to have brought his wetsuit and is going to be very cold and wet by the finish. You can see the changes of surface there. There's not a lot of grip in the wet through the horseshoe. Same with the last corner. In the dry, however, there's loads of it. Jack Harding leads by 5.14 seconds. You have to look a long way back for Ben Finch. Conscious of Dave Waters in third and Stephanie Walters beyond in fourth. Walters running very wide through Billy's blind, but manages to get it over to the left to sweep into the right-hander. Robert Lark, a picture of concentration, into turn 2. Jack Harding almost in final 2 already, but it's by no means an easy run to the flag. Any kind of mistake, there's no clutches on these carts. You go round, you're going to stop, you're going to lose it all. He's coming round to start his final lap. His lead is nearly 6 seconds now on Ben Finch. Finch's concentration is almost totally on keeping his cart on the track, and Dave Waters behind him into turn 1. And Waters closes to the bumper. Who's going to get that drive through Billy's blind? We've seen that Dave Waters has been fairly strong up to this corner. Drifting it in. Now Finch went a long way across. He's got in narrow into turn 2. A chance for Waters up the inside into the S's. Hasn't got the drive. Finch stays second. Sideways into the S's, drifting it off the corner. And Waters is over the curbs on the exit. It's going to be from a long way back if he's going to throw it down the inside into the hairpin. He's not close enough. He'll have one last chance into the horseshoe. That look over to the shoulder says to me that he's given up on it. He's settling for third. Coming out the last corner, Jack Harding takes a second win of the season to extend his championship lead. Stefan Child has nicked another 5th place, this time from Chris Lewis-Evans. Ben Finch finishes second ahead of Dave Waters and Stephanie Walters.
So, third place then for the driver, starting in 4th, finishing 3rd. That was driver number 17, David Walters. And to our runner-up then, starting grid 2, finishing runner-up in sprint final 1 for the Clubman class. That goes to driver number 2, Ben Finch. To our race winner then, and polled it for sprint final number 1. So polled it and won the race by a massive gap of 5.8 seconds. Outstanding race and a strong win as well. Maximum points going to driver number 4, Jack Harding.
Once again, fastest lap time set the grid for final 2, and his final 1 winner, Jack Harding, perhaps not surprisingly given the conditions, looking for a double and to take control of the championship from pole position. Stephanie Walters looking to prevent that from grid 2. Dave Waters on row 2 with Ben Finch looking to go one better than second in final 1 from grid 4. Stefan Child must be getting sick of 5th places, and he starts there with Dan Milner outside of row 3. Carl Watt, Ross Wadigan, Chris Lewis-Evans, Robert Lark round out the top 10, and Liam Nolan, Steve Townsend, Oliver Goodacre and James Hazelhurst make up the 14 for final 2. And no one wants to let Jack Harding get away. He controls the pace of the Union flag. He's brought them through quite a clip, and I think Stephanie Walters was ahead of him at the line there. Well, Harding's back in front, so it might be allowed to go. We're on board here with Stefan Child. Ahead of us, Dave Waters, trying to go round the outside of Dan Milner. Oh, and Walters is on the grass. Ben Finch has grabbed the lead round the outside of turn 2. Finch leads from Jack Harding, and Milner's now up the inside, trying to find a way past Stephanie Walters, and Dave Waters has gone through as well. So to say she got a jump on the start, she hasn't made the most of it. Now she's going to be boxed in behind Dan Milner. Child down the inside, he goes a long way in, and he's pushing his way past Dan Milner at the same time, but the road will go in his favour. Now Child will have to hold off Walters in the horseshoe, and he's done it. And they're still fighting hard right through the field. Ben Finch leads by 0.27 of a second at the line, ahead of Jack Harding, Dave Waters, Dan Milner, Stefan Child, Stephanie Walters down in 6th place. We're on board here with Oliver Goodacre. We're looking at the back of Robert Lark in 10th. And it's Finch ahead of Harding. Harding looking for a way by, down the inside into turn 2. Goes a long way in though. Finch could be back through at the S's. Stefan Child staying ahead. Yes, he is. Finch is in the lead. Dave Waters in 3rd. Milner now leading out Stefan Child down the back straight. Harding pushing hard, trying to get the lead back. Finch conscious not to let Harding get out front because he'll be gone like the first final. Waters now looking down the inside. Now is Ben Finch trying to push Jack Harding back into Dave Waters. It'd be canny driving. A bit of strategy at work, a bit of gamesmanship, Now what's going on here? That's a driver standards board, possibly for contact, I think. Not sure who that was for. And Finch is trying to make a break for it. He's pushed Jack Harding back into Dave Waters. Now can Harding break clear of Waters? Waters generally has plenty of pace. He's just a bit wild. And he's going for second up the inside in the S's. Good move. He's through. Great move from Dave Waters. Now this is playing out well here for Ben Finch. Waters couldn't catch Finch in the first final. Jack Harding under pressure. The championship leader showing a few cracks in the horseshoe. Dan Milner trying to get on his bumper. Picture of concentration once again. On board with Stefan Child, he's running in 5th place. Couple of car lengths off Dan Milner's bumper. He can have that in a flash. Sweeping through Billy's blind, heading down to turn 2. Lots of lock goes in to encourage the nose to turn. Not too much or the back will come round. Through the S's, it's Finch, Waters, Harding a couple of car lengths down, a couple of car lengths on Dan Milner, who in turn is under pressure from Stefan Child, looking for a way by. Down in the hairpin, Finch went in deep, Waters went in deeper. He's going to lose out to Jack Harding. On board here with Chris Lewis-Evans, behind Robert Lark. That must be about 11th, 12th place, I think. Down the inside of Oliver Goodacre. Dicing hard over the minor places, battles right through the field. Harding now picking up his pace. Now he's got a bit of clear running. Once again, Robert Lark down the inside of Oliver Goodacre. Lap 5 of 12, back on board with Chris Lewis-Evans. He's in 12th. Sweeping through the battle for 10th. Oh, and Robert Lark's gone off on the left. Contact with Oliver Goodacre. Well, that's just racing in the wet of Clay Pigeon. Wrong place, wrong time, 2 going for the same piece of track. Finch with a few kart lengths on Jack Harding. Still under pressure from Dave Waters, who's now under pressure from Dan Milner. Road goes in his favour, so he'll have the inside for the horseshoe. There's a crisscross on for Milner. He's looking for a way by. Got to be careful, he's got Stefan Child hard on his bumper as well. Child looking to get good drive out of turn 1, nowhere near the apex in the wet. The grip is round the outside. Hands in the air, Robert Lark's cart's been recovered from the tyre barrier, but it's a long way back on a very wet grass. No sign of the pusher cart yet. So it's Finch, Harding, Waters, Milner, Child under pressure from Walters. Oh, she's had a bounce down the curb on the exit. Lost another kart length. Ross Wheeligan just set the fastest lap, coming through in 7th place ahead of Carl Watt. And we're through, coming on to lap 6 of 12. In fact, on to lap 7. We're through half distance. Dave Waters responds to a fast lap from Jack Harding with one of his own. Trying to get on his tail. There's Finch pulling clear now, over 1.2 seconds clear. And Wheeligan's looking down the inside of Stephanie Walters through Billy's blind. It's not on. Gives her the corner, then closes on the bumper into the S's. She bounces over the curbs, misses the second apex. Running in behind Robert Lark, who's been restarted. Wheeligan still behind Walters at the hairpin. Finch has got ahead of Robert Lark. That was crucial in the horseshoe. Now Jack Harding's probably going to run in behind Lark into turn 1. This could prove awkward if it doesn't go quite to plan. He's run wide. Robert Lark does well to get out the way. Harding though still conscious of Dave Waters within striking distance. Up to turn 2. Hooking that inside curb to get a bit of purchase. Into the S's. Looking fairly sedate is Ben Finch. It is raining again. Water on the camera lens, pretty much as you'd see through a helmet visor. Ooh. Stefan Child could have run into the back of Robert Lark. James Hazelhurst fighting with Chris Lewis-Evans over 11th. Runs wide and Evans gets the place back. On to lap 9 of 12, and Dave Waters is once again closing in on Jack Harding. Now we've seen that Dave Waters is strong through Billy's Blind in the wet. Not close enough for turn 2. Tidy line from Jack Harding, although he's run wide off the corner, and a chance for Waters in the S's. He went through here the first time, puts Jack Harding on the grass. Harding back on, where's he coming back on? They're going to have a discussion about it. Oh, very narrow. Harding making it very difficult for Dave Waters. Turns in when Waters is already there. Got to keep his head together. There's a discussion going on with hand gestures. Make your own minds up on that one. Oh, and Carl Watts pushed too hard and buried it in the tyres at turn 2. Look at the lead that Ben Finch has got. It's 2.7 seconds now on Dave Waters. Turning into turn 1. Feeding in the power. Takes a look over his shoulder. Oh, and he's lost his concentration. Oh, what a mistake. The bad Dave Waters appears. His head's connected to his hands. He turns his head. He turns the steering wheel slightly. So Ben Finch, his lead now over 3 seconds back to Jack Harding. Dan Milner in 3rd, Stefan Child in 4th place. There's Finch in the lead. Jack Harding, Dan Milner closing in. Looking at the inside of Harding going down the hairpin. Gets awfully close to Harding's bumper. Now where's Stefan Child? Not close enough to take advantage. Stephanie Walters in 5th. Ross Wheeligan closing in 6th place. Finch lays down a marker. This final looks to be his now. Although it only takes a moment's lapse and you end up like Dave Waters with egg on your face. Still, it's a 3.5 second lead. So Finch can concentrate on just keeping it on the track ahead of Jack Harding, Dan Milner, Stefan Child and Stephanie Walters. Wheeligan closing in. It's really a 4-way battle over 3rd place, I think. Dan Milner holding off Child, Walters and Wheeligan. Looking for Liam Nolan coming through in 7th place. Walters looking to close in down at the hairpin. Child puts a lot of lock in, runs wide, finds grip to the outside, makes a late apex. Walters not close enough to do anything in the horseshoe. Child opening up the corner by taking a late turn in. Leaves himself open to a lunge, got to be careful. Walters is not shy about a bit of contact. But Ben Finch is heading for victory. Jack Harding in 2nd. Dan Milner 3rd. Big gap now. Back to Robert Lark coming through. Out of the S's for the last time. Ben Finch, Jack Harding, Dan Milner. Stefan Child has dropped Stephanie Walters, who's got pressure right at the death here from Ross Wheeligan. He's looking to go round the outside. It's a brave move, and it's not going to work. Ben Finch is developing the winning habit. 2 corners from the finish. Checkered flag at the ready. He's going to win here at Clay Pigeon in final 2. Jack Harding coming in behind him. Controversially docked a lap for missing the chicane in that clash with Dave Waters. So Dan Milner is promoted to 2nd place ahead of Stefan Child. And Stefan moves to 2nd overall ahead of Dave Waters in the championship. 14 points behind Jack Harding, who despite his poor 2nd final, heads to Wilton Mill as the championship leader in a championship that remains firmly wide open.
To our top 3 then, and this driver starting grid 5, finishing in 3rd place. Well done, driver number 1, Stefan Child. Sorry, finishing runner-up in final number 2 for the Clubman class. Well done, driver number 3, Dan Milner. And to our race winner then, and our race winner, fastest lap of the race, 51.62. Obviously got a bit greasy out there, or greasier out there. And we've seen him on the podium already, so it's twice podium for this weekend. Started on grid 4, not only got on the podium, but he got on the top step. Our race winner, driver number 2, Ben Finch. Looking slick. Fantastic. Okay, wonderful. There you go. There are your top three for Clubman final number 2.